What is up, everybody? We are live. It is Thursday today, which means that it is time for the Monster Workshop stream. Yes, that's right, we're back. I have had a rocky, month and a half, everybody. It's been a little busy, and it's been a little tough, and it's been a little sick. I had some COVID, and then I had some, I had to kind of recover from that COVID. You know what I mean? I thought that I was recovered, and I wasn't. And I'm feeling better now, and I am ready and excited to be back here working on some more monsters. So I hope that you are joining us today. If not, enjoy watching it on the VOD as you watch it later. What's going on, everybody? Talk to me. I'm in the middle of running a camp right now. I have I'm running a Ravenloft game. And it's going pretty well. Today we had a shorter session, both because we started late and also because we had an internet outage right at the very end. I lost power about a half an hour before the end of the session, so we really only played for like an hour and a half today, which I think the kids were a little disappointed about, but it couldn't be helped. There was a huge outage in my area, and right before the stream started, it finally came back, and I was like, oh, great, I can still do the stream. That's amazing. Speaking of that stream, this stream is a companion to the podcast that I produce called Monster of the Week, which you can check out at the link above. It's on Podbean, it is on iTunes, it is on Spotify. And the premise of this podcast, if you were just tuning in for the first time, is that I take one monster every week, going alphabetically through the monster manual, and I dissect it. We talk about its history, we talk about its lore, we talk about how it's expressed in 5th edition, and then we usually give a little bit of criticism. We talk about ways we could improve the monster or to make it more interesting. Here, I've got a fan blowing on me. I'm gonna turn it that way I get a little bit more of the cool air because it is hot here in California. One second. There we go. A little bit of extra juice. Yeah, let me make sure I'm still in frame here, because that's the other problem with these streams. Yeah, I'm alright. Scoot over a little bit. Great. We talk about some criticism. We talk about things we don't like about the monster and ways to improve it, but the podcast is not the best format to do those improvements, and that is why we have this stream every Thursday at 2 p.m. So this week, we are tackling the last of our 3-part episode on devils. We talked about all of the types of all the lower level devils in the past 2 streams, but here on this stream we're going to talk about the 4 most powerful devils that are presented in the 5th edition monster manual. And I was a little bit surprised by some of these entries. I didn't realize that things like the Horn Devil or the Ice Devil were as powerful as they actually are. And we're going to talk about how that works and what those monsters entail. We have 4 devils to get through today. We have 4 devils to get through today, and so I'm going to take them one at a time with their problems and talk about their solutions, and then we will, then we will call it quits. So the first problem, and this is actually true of all devils, we talked about this in our 2 previous streams, is that I like large groups of monsters to have a unifying ability, one ability that all creatures of that type have, to kind of distinguish them. So I like all of my goblins to have the same kind of ability and all of my demons to have the same kind of ability. I especially think it's important with demons and devils because I think it's so easy to get them mixed up. I often forget whether a Barlgura is a demon or a devil. It's a demon. I often forget whether a chain devil is a bad example because it has devil in the name, right? I forget whether a chiton is a demon or a devil, that kind of thing, right? And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to design a unifying power that whenever you see this on the field, it is a reminder that this is this particular type of fiend, and more so than that, it plays into their levels of advancement, because both of these types of fiends advance and grow more powerful as they move their way through their sort of underrealms. So in our past streams, we have developed the Infernal Bargain, which is a unifying power for the devils. The way it works is that whenever a creature within 30 feet of the devil makes a death saving throw, the devil can offer the creature a bargain. If the creature agrees to surrender its soul to the devil, the creature immediately gains all the benefits of a long rest. In addition, you roll 1d20, and on a roll of a 19 or a 20, the devil, or usually on the roll of a 20, the devil is promoted and instantly transforms into a more powerful devil. But then once a creature's soul is given, it cannot be given again. Yeah, that is kind of how it works. Hey, David, thanks for coming. Welcome. So that is a power we're going to apply to all 4 of our demons today. Excuse me, 3 of the 4 demons, except for the Pit Fiend, who does not have the ability because they cannot. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll give it to the Pit Fiend, and we'll say that like it eats the soul or it gains some other benefit besides leveling up. I think that's kind of cool. Excellent. That is the main power we're going to give to all of the devils today, but we are going to break down each devil as we go through, starting with the lowest CR of our devils, and that is the Horned Devil. Are these CRs accurate? Yeah, I think so. Okay. The Horned Devil, let's talk about it first. It's a little small for me to read here, so I'm going to grab my own monster manual, and I'm going to give us a brief little summary of this monster, and then we'll talk about the things that I think could be improved with the Horned Devil. And there are a few. I don't think the Horned Devil is too bad. The Horned Devil is a large fiend. It's got 18 armor class, 17 hit dice, 20-foot speed, and a 60-foot fly speed. It's got good stats pretty much across the board. It's got good saves, strength, dex, wisdom, and charisma. It has normal devil resistances, so it's resistant to cold, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, fire, poison. It is immune to fire and poison. It is immune to the condition of poisoned. It's got dark vision out to 120 feet. It speaks infernal, and it has 120-foot telepathy. It is a CR 11 fiend. Now, power-wise, it has Devil's Sight, which lets it see in magical darkness. It has magic resistance, and then it has its multi-attack. The devil can make 3 melee attacks, 2 with its fork, 1 with its tail, and it can also use Hurl Flame in place of any melee attack. So the fork just hits you for 2d8 piercing. Confusingly, the fork is like heated up in the art. It looks like it's kind of like a hot fork, but it nope, it doesn't deal fire damage, so that's okay. Then it has the tail, and the tail has like a wounding power. It hits you, you take some piercing, and you must make a con save, and if you fail, you lose 10 hit points, 3d6, at the start of each of your turns due to an infernal wound. Now, what's crazy is that for each additional wound it gives you, that stacks. So then it becomes 66, and then it becomes, 96, and it starts to get worse and worse and worse. Any creature can take an action to staunch the wound with a successful wisdom medicine check. It also closes if the target receives magical healing. And then they have Hurl Flame, which is basically a ranged attack that deals 46 fire damage, and if the target is a flammable object, it also catches fire. Yeah, that's the Horned Devil. They're pretty basic. I think they're implied to be kind of the elite shock troops of the 9 Hells, and I think for the most part that works out. The picture I really want to really quickly point out, they have these cute little button noses. I love their stupid little noses. I don't know if you can see that, but they're very, very silly, and I like how silly and cute they are. But that does not mean that the Horned Devil is, free from criticism. The main thing that I think is weird about them is that they are better flyers than they are walkers. They only have 20-foot walk speed, so they're definitely encouraged to fly, but they're not particularly good at aerial fighting. There's nothing in here that really helps them with that. I mean, I guess the fork has a 10-foot reach, so they can stay in the air, but otherwise it kind of feels like they should have some cool flying abilities. So the other thing that is weird about them, and I think we can combine these two, is that the Horned Devil does not have a horn attack. That's its whole thing. It's called the Horned Devil. It's not called the Winged Devil. It's not called the Forked Devil. It's not called the Tail Devil. It's called the Horned Devil, no horn attack. Pretty weird. So here is what I am imagining. In addition to Infernal Bargain, I'm thinking we should also give the Horned Devil like a flyby attack, kind of dive bomb thing, right? Give it a flyby attack, which I'll have to look up specifically how it's worded, but then also give it a charge ability. So the conceit is that if it charges at you, it can make a horn attack as a free action or a bonus action or whatever, right? And then it can fly back out. So what it's doing is it's flying down, it is hitting you with the fork, it's bashing you with the horns, maybe it's getting you with the tail, and then it is flying back up again, right? So if it's just standing in melee, it can do any one of the 3 attacks, right? It can do 2 with the fork or 2 with the horns, whatever it wants to do. But if it is stooping on you, if it dives, it gets to use its bonus action to hit you with its horns. That is my recommendation for the Horned Devil. Pretty simple. I mean, I think this is meant to be kind of a shock troop monster, so I don't imagine that they should be that complicated. So we're going to jump in there. We're going to put Infernal Bargain in. I want to check before we do that. I should maybe just leave this open. You know what I need? I need one more, stool or something right here to put the book on. I don't really have a lot of other space. I'm going to grab that, and then we are going to do this Horned Devil. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I want to know what the upgraded version of the Devil is. I assume that it's an erinyes, but we may actually surprise you. All right, I'm going to be right back. Okay, there. So now I have a nice little stool here where I can put my monster manual. Hello, George Washington. What's going on? How you doing? I gotta be honest, not a big fan of the slaves, Mr. President. Okay, let us dive in. We are going to talk about the Horned Devil. So first things first, Infernal Bargain. Here we go. Infernal Bargain. When a creature within 30 feet of the devil makes a death saving throw. You know what we should do? We should do 120 feet because that is their telepathy. 120 feet of the devil makes a death saving throw. The devil can offer the creature a bargain. If the creature surrenders its soul to the devil, it immediately gains all benefits of a long rest. In addition, roll 1d20. On a 20, ooh, you know what, actually? Okay, so in the lore, let's talk about this. In the lore, they talk about how the sorry, I'm looking at a different stat block here. They talk about how the Horned Devil is like specifically are like very loyal and they follow orders and they're not really seeking promotion like some of the other devils. And I really liked the idea of Asmodeus designing one of the levels of the devil advancement to be specifically kind of like a trap. Right? Like when they get to the level where they are loyal foot soldiers, Asmodeus kind of puts in a little mental trap to prevent them from wanting to advance, right? So I like the idea that the Horned Devil actually has a lessened chance of advancement than other devils, right? Right now it's just a 20. I wonder if you roll 1d20 with disadvantage for the Horned Devil, right? I like to make these ones like slightly, you know, different every time. The Barbed Devil, who are kind of hungry for advancement, they are promoted on a 19 or a 20. Hello, Vaughn. Thanks for coming. So I'm going to say you roll this for the Horned Devil with disadvantage, because I like the idea that it's almost like a little, like, pit, where it's basically to prevent too many devils from getting to the rank of Ice Devil or Erinyes or obviously Pit Fiend. On a 20, the Horned Devil is promoted and instantly transforms into, all right, drum roll everybody, an Ice Devil. Now, if you know your devils, you might be saying, wait a minute, what about the Erinyes? Erinyes? Who knows? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Once a creature's soul is given, it cannot be given again. Great. Now that we have it written once, we can just copy that over onto all of the other devils that we work on today. So that is Infernal Bargain. There it is. I like the idea of giving them disadvantage. That plays into their lore of being kind of unambitious devils. The one devil that does not actually want to advance because of a trick of Asmodeus. Oh yes, we also wanted to put in flyby attack and sort of a trample or a charge style ability. Let's look at charge. Use the preset. If the devil moves at least 20 feet in a straight line, the devil moves at least, let's say, 30 feet in a straight line towards the target and hits with a fork attack on the same turn, the devil can make, let's see, yeah, if it, because I'm thinking of like, I think it's Goring Rush for the Minotaur, right, where it deals, like, if you charge it as a bonus action, you can make a horn attack. I kind of think that's what I want to do. Hits with a fork attack on the same turn. The devil can spend a bonus action to make a horn attack. The devil can make a horn attack. The devil can make a horn attack as a free action. On a hit, the target must make a DC. What would the DC here be? DC is 12 plus its strength. Ooh, an 18, a DC 18. We're gonna drop that. We're gonna do DC 16. Oh, you know, we have 17 for the wound. A DC 17 strength saving throw, or be knocked prone. So the way this would work, if I were running the devil, right? Oh, you know what? If the devil moves at least 30 feet straight towards a target, the devil can make a horn attack as a, not a free action, as a bonus action. On a hit, the target must make a DC 17 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. So if I was running this devil, right, it dives down, it makes a horn attack as a bonus action. If it hits, the target must make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Now they're prone, and then you go in with multi-attack, right? So it's like they dive you, bonk you. Let's say if the devil flies at least 30 feet. And maybe we'll even increase it. Maybe we'll say 40 feet to make it a little bit harder. And rather than charge, we're going to call this dive bomb. And that's an ability. Great. So the idea then, tactically, is that the devil, and this would go above magic resistance, the devil dive bombs the target, bonus action, so movement, bonus action, knock you on your butt, right? Oh, just to make it more, difficult, right? Because it's pretty powerful. So I'm saying that like it only works if it builds up enough momentum to get that dive. Vaughn asks, is the 30 feet instead of 20 feet somehow significant? Why does this devil need more space to charge? Because of how much more powerful this ability is, I believe. It just dives straight towards the target. It can make a horn attack as a bonus action. On a hit, the target must make a DC 17 strength saving throw, be knocked prone. If they're knocked prone, now the devil can go in with its 3 melee attacks. It can hit with the horns, and it can hit with the tail. And if you are prone, it has advantage on all 3 of those things. So I wanted to make the dive bomb a little bit trickier to pull off than just 20 feet. But and I think that makes sense if you're thinking of it in terms of the velocity at which the devil would have to get at in order to hit you. Great question, though, Vaughn. That's my reasoning there. Okay, great. And then we just have to put a horn attack down here, and I think we are good. So horns. Let's put it in the multi-attack. The devil makes 3 melee attacks, 2 with its fork or horns, and 1 with its tail. Right. That is the multi-attack, and then horn attack. So this is going to be a melee weapon attack with strength. Yep. Okay, horns. So this one I think has to be next to it. It's got to be 5-foot reach. And that's another vulnerability that the devil puts itself in. If it chooses to dive bomb, then it doesn't have, right, it's like right in melee contact, right? I was thinking about giving it flyby attack, but I kind of think it's better if it's like knock you down and then like punish you when you're on the ground. If it has flyby attack, I think it's almost more encouraged. Like then it can also fly away again. I like the idea that it dive bombs and it spends everything. The usual mechanic for knocked prone is that the extra stuff happens after the target is knocked prone. Meaning like, well, but if I have a bonus action that knocks the target prone, right? And then I attack after I've knocked them prone. Like there's no order in which you have to do that, I assume, right? Unless knocking prone only ever happens at the end of the round, the end of the turn. Melee weapon attack, strength attack to hit, 5 feet, 1 target. What are we thinking for damage on this? The fork is 2d8 plus 6 piercing. So I don't think the horns, I mean, they are big. Like if you look at these horns, they're pretty gnarly, right? But because the fork already does piercing damage and so does the tail, maybe the horns are bludgeoning, right? It's smacking you with those horns, especially because of like the way that they're curled. I don't think that's really gonna like gore you. I think it's a hit. It's a bludgeoning. So I don't think it's that damaging. I think it's like 1d8 bludgeoning damage. So again, it's really only used in that dive bomb. It could theoretically use it in melee, but it's much more incentivized to use the fork. That is my thinking, so let's put that as action. There is the horns. Fork, horns, tail. All right, can we... I gotta put this in a different order to balance it out. Magic resistance goes up. And then update the stat block, and then go like that. There we go. Horned Devil. Love that. Love a Horned Devil. Great, so it's got Dive Bomb. If the Devil flies at least 40 feet straight towards a target, the Devil can make a horn attack as a bonus action. On a hit, the target must make a DC 17 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. It's got Infernal Bargain. When a creature within 120 feet of the Devil makes a death saving throw, the Devil can offer the creature a bargain. If the creature surrenders its soul to the Devil, it immediately gains all benefits of a long rest. In addition, roll 1d20 with disadvantage. On a 20, the Horned Devil is promoted and instantly transforms into an Ice Devil. Once a creature's soul is given, it cannot be given again. It's got Fork, Horn. The Horn attack is plus 10 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, 10 damage, 1d8 plus 6 bludgeoning. Got the tail. Yeah, there we go. The Horned Devil. Lovely. Lovely. I'm going to view the image. I'm going to save the stat block. Love that. Okay, beautiful. Now we're going to talk about our next devil. We're flying. That's only 20 minutes in. So we are going to talk a little bit about the erinyes? I still can't get this one right. I don't know why. I'm in my head about it. I guess I could go listen to Laura Bailey and or Matt Mercer say it. Let me look. Well, definitely not and. It would be or. I'm gonna get this one. We're gonna find out the correct pronunciation of this right now. Sorry if there's a little bit of a lag while I look, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. I listened to it before I recorded the podcast too, but then over the course of the podcast, I lost it again. Okay. Help us. Here we go. Erinyes. Erinyes? Okay, erinyes. I'm already losing it. So we have the erinyes and we have the Ice Devil. Let us talk about both of these two, and then we will talk about their specific mechanics. Okay. So the erinyes is a CR12 medium fiend. It's got high armor class. It's got 30-foot movement speed. It's got 60-foot fly speed. Good saves, good stats, good saves. Normal devil resistances and immunities. It's got true sight 120 feet. It's got telepathy 120 feet. It's got hellish weapons. The erinyes' weapon attacks are magical and deal an extra 13 poison damage on a hit. It has magic resistance. It's got multi-attack. It makes 3 attacks. Longsword. Yeah, erinyes. Oh, but Vaughn's doing it with 4 syllables. Erinyes? Erinyes? An erinyes? Boy, yeah, that's just messed me up. The Fury, excuse me, I'm gonna call it a Fury. Makes 3 attacks. It's got a longsword attack that deals poison damage. Obviously from the hellish weapons. It's got a longbow attack that deals poison damage. And has a poisoned condition on it. And then lastly, it has a parry where it can add +4 to its AC against 1 melee attack that would hit it. They have a sidebar, frustratingly, where they have ropes of entanglement, which is a magic item you'd have to go look up. They give conflicting accounts. Who knows? There's no true pronunciation. The real idiot in this scenario is me, because I didn't ask my classics major wife how to pronounce it, who was running a Greek mythology game for us. You'd think that she would probably know. But they have the rope of entanglement, but it's only in the Dungeon Master's Guide. It's not only is it in a sidebar, but the actual stats of the rope of entanglement are not in the stats for the monster. I think that is irresponsible. So that's the erinyes. The Ice Devil is the other devil we're going to talk about right now. We're going to kind of do them both at once. It is a CR14 large fiend, high armor class, 40-foot speed, good stats, good saves, devil resistances and immunities. Importantly, it is immune to fire, which I love. It's also immune to cold. It's got blind sight instead of true sight, telepathy, devil sight, magic resistance, multi-attack with a bite that deals a piercing and cold, claws that deal slashing and cold, a tail that deals bludgeoning and cold, and then a very, very large stat block for its wall of ice power, which is not worth the ink it is printed with. Frustratingly, the Ice Devil also has an ice spear in a sidebar. instead of being the actual thing. And the Ice Spear can freeze the target, which I think is cool and better than the Wall of Ice. So here's the deal. I think that the erinyes, oh boy, see, is a much better, cooler premise of a monster. Lore-wise, the idea is that these are fallen angels. These are celestials that have been snared by Asmodeus and forced into servitude. Sometimes they have fallen willingly, right? Like, I like the idea that it's kind of a Zariel situation where it is an angel that has willingly signed a contract for whatever reason and is now being forced into it. And they are inspired partially by the Furies of Greek mythology. And so, like, they, in older versions of the lore, they enjoy going on to the mortal realm and tempting people. If you go by the Fury rules, they, hound people who commit, like, unforgivable crimes. Lore-wise, they are awesome. They're super cool. They're way cooler than the Ice Devil, which is one category above them. The Ice Devil is a CR 14, and the erinyes is a CR 12, and I think we should flip them. I think that the erinyes should be the right hand of a pit fiend. I kind of even think on some level the erinyes should be, there should just be 3 of them, right? It should be Megara, Alecto, and Tisiphone, the 3 Furies. And it's not like there's a whole bunch of them. You can't even become one, right? You skip over it, which is why I wanted the Horned Devil to turn into a Ice Devil rather than an erinyes. I just think that the premise is so strong that it sucks that they're CR 12. These should be the lieutenants of the Pit Fiend, in my opinion. So here's what I am proposing. I am proposing that we swap a lot of the stats between the Ice Devil and the erinyes, so that way the erinyes is CR 14 and the Ice Devil is CR 12, and it comes next on the list. The notion is that the erinyes is just outside of the promotion thing, because you have to be it's kind of like the Yochlol in the demons, where the Yochlol is outside the normal demon progression because it is specifically a demon that was taken by Lolth and corrupted. It's very, very similar here. The erinyes is a celestial corrupted by Asmodeus. So that's my proposal. We're gonna start then with the Ice Devil, and we're gonna kind of scale it down to a CR 12. So I've got the Ice Devil here. I've also got the erinyes, and we're gonna basically borrow a bunch of stuff because I don't think it particularly matters in the case of a lot of these abilities. So we can keep its movement, we can keep its armor class because they're the same. We're gonna lower its hit points down to let's see, we want to get it kind of in the range of about 150. So does that mean, like, gotta do a little trial and error here. 100, let's do 16 hit dice. Yeah, there we go. Cool. That's 152, whereas the erinyes has 153. Its movement, I think we can keep. We're gonna bump down its ability scores. So it's gonna have 18 strength. We can keep its 14 dex. That's fine. 18 con is the same. It's got 14 intelligence. It's gonna have 14 wisdom, and it's gonna have 18 charisma still. Great. Yeah, there is no internal promotion. I completely agree. Okay. So that's their stats, and then their saving throws would basically be the same. Yep. I do want to keep their cold immunity. I think that is appropriate. They're immune to cold. I love that they're immune to fire. I love it. They're devils, right? So of course they're immune to fire. I love the troll of the wizard dropping a fireball on one, and it just doesn't do anything. Amazing. Okay, we're gonna give them their cold immunity. Wait, am I on erinyes? Yeah, Ice Devil. Okay. Oh, they don't have their cold immunity on here for some reason. That's weird. Yeah, the Tetracube isn't always perfect. Sometimes they make little mistakes, but that's okay. They speak Infernal. All the rest of that I think is fine. They're gonna be CR 12. And they're just not as cool. So like I don't understand why they're more powerful. They suck. Oh, so then let's also talk. The other thing I want to do too, I have other fixes for them. I think the Ice Devil is weirdly underwhelming. I think at CR 12 maybe it isn't so bad, but I still think you could make them more interesting. And we're gonna put the spear back into the Ice Devil because the spear is cool. And I also think like the wall of ice power. If you come down here and you look at it, it's massive. It's almost like half of the stat block, right? Is this wall of ice, And it's just like, it's very fiddly, and it's very concerned with like squares and stuff. You know, it's this many feet long and this many feet tall, and I can design it however you want. Like, that's great for Roll20 or Foundry or something. But it's pretty garbage for Theater of the Mind. So I am proposing that we change it. I want to give them a cold aura, and I want to give them a sort of chilling command power where they can freeze somebody solid just by saying a word or scaring them or whatever. That was something that they had in 4th edition that I really liked. It's a nice like battlefield control thing. It's a nice action economy thing, but it doesn't have to take up this huge chunk of the stat block. That can go back and give us some room to play around with the spear. So we're gonna put Infernal Bargain in there because it could theoretically become a Pit Fiend. So let's put Infernal Bargain, which we can steal from the Horned Devil. Chow. There we go. That's the Pit Fiend. Whoopsie daisy. Here's our Ice Devil. So here's Infernal Bargain. We gotta make sure we remove the disadvantage. Roll 1d20. On a 20, the Ice Devil is promoted and instantly transforms into a Pit Fiend. What a horrifying moment that would be. Imagine you're fighting an Ice Devil, right? CR 14, maybe the CR 12. Oh, I actually really love how dangerous that is. I think that's really, really cool. So they have telepathy? Yep, telepathy 120 feet. You are in this fight, right? You drop to 0 fighting these Ice Devils or this Ice Devil, and it makes this bargain with you, and you think, I gotta save my friends. I'm gonna do it. You make the bargain, you get a long rest, you stand up, the Dungeon Master rolls the d20, gets a 20. That Ice Devil jumps 8 ranks in CR and becomes a Pit Fiend right there in front of you. The chances of that happening are very, very slim, but I love it. I think that's really cool. Imagine that story of like, boom, it exploded into a Pit Fiend. We had to run. It was a nightmare, and I gave away my soul, and this is what I got, right? Like, I think that is going to be a story in a campaign for sure. So as dangerous as it sounds, I love it. I'm putting it in. I think it's always better to take a risk than not take a risk. Okay, cool. So let's get in here and do the rest of this. I want to do the Ice Spear is the first thing we're going to do. So multi-attack. I don't really care about the bite and the claws. 2 attacks, 1 with its spear, 1 with its tail. So we're going to kill the bite and the claws. I don't care. They're boring. The devil makes 3 attacks. Or 2 attacks. Makes 2 attacks. 1 with its spear and 1 with its tail. Great, that's the action. And all I got was this lousy Pit Fiend. That is precisely right. God, what a nightmare. Can you imagine that being like, especially if you are like hurt enough to consider taking that, right? I'm gonna get up with a full rest and save my companions, and you're level 12 or whatever, and then now there's a Pit Fiend there. Oh, beautiful. If that's a TPK, that's working as intended, in my opinion. Okay, Ice Spear. This is a melee weapon attack. Use preset. Ice Spear. It is strength to hit, yes. It has 10-foot reach, because it is a spear. It is a spear, my friends. 1 target. It hits for 2d8. 2d8. 2d8 piercing damage. Plus, don't forget, tell your friends, 10 cold damage. I'm in a weird mood today. I'm in a jaunty mood. Cold damage. If the target is a creature, which we presume it is, it must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, or for 1 minute, its speed is reduced by 10 feet. It can take either an action or a bonus action on each of its turns, but not both. Okay, tiny gripe, we're gonna stop. That is exactly right, Vaughn. Vaughn's already onto it. The Erinyes go after the Oathbreakers who somehow get out of selling their oath. That is precisely what they do. So in Greek mythology, the Furies hounded people who committed certain, like, unforgivable crimes. And like, you can still do that, and that's still fine. But if we're doing like an infernal thing, and it's all about contracts, right? Like, the Erinyes go after people who get their souls back, or who renege on a contract. Like, that is their primary purpose, which I love that. Rope of Entanglement is great for that too, because it literally drag them down to hell. Love all that stuff. Amazing. Oops, I got some typos here. Me? Typos? Okay, great. But not both. Oh, great. So they do this thing sometimes in in 5th edition, where they are borrowing mechanics from 4th edition, but they have gotten rid of the like mechanic names. They've taken the like condition names out, and so now they are forced to laboriously explain in each monster stat block how this works. One of them is the spell Slow, which functionally is similar to Dazed, like this effect, where they can either take an action or a bonus action on each of its turns, but not both. That is essentially a mechanic from 4th edition called Dazed, where you could move, you could either take an action, a minor action, or, yeah, no one ever makes typos when people are watching you type. You could either take a move, an action, or a minor action, and that was it, right? One of the three. That's from 4th edition, and I really like that mechanic because it gives you some choice rather than just saying you're stunned. You can still do stuff, but your action economy is limited, right? But now in 5th edition, they've taken that term, Dazed, out of the game, and so whenever they want that effect, they have to re-explain it every single time, and I think that's dumb. The Horn Devil has a similar problem, where they have the wounding power, right, which is ongoing damage, and that was the thing 4th edition had too, where it's like, you take 10 fire damage and 5 ongoing fire, save ends, right? So by doing it that way, again, save ends especially, like now every single ability that has a save in it, you have to laboriously explain the monster can end the effect by making a successful saving throw at the end of its turn. Back in the day in 4th edition, you just said ongoing 5 fire damage, parentheses, save ends. You understood saves were made at the end of the round, like it made the monsters easier to read, right? And less time is spent on this stuff. So again, and it's also stuff like this, like if the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 15 saving throw. Like, I get what you're trying to do, you're hedging, right? But I'm trying to imagine a scenario whereby a dungeon master is running a combat where, let's say the Ice Devil wants to use its spear to bust down a door, right? Like, you close the door on the Ice Devil, it's trying to come through, it uses its spear, right? Imagine the dungeon master who's confused about whether or not the door has to make a Constitution saving throw. Because, like, follow that logic for a second. Let's say you don't have if the target is a creature in there, and the dungeon master decides, okay, I got to roll a Constitution saving throw for the door. What is the door's Constitution save? Who knows? And then the door's speed is reduced by 10 feet. What's the speed of the door? It can take an action or a bonus action on each of its turns, but not both. Door can't take actions, right? And the door can't take reactions, and the target can repeat the saving throw. It's like all this stuff that obviously applies to a creature, but they have to waste space by saying if the target is a creature. You know what I mean? Sometimes that stuff's helpful. Sometimes it's like a creature it can see within 30 feet of it. Okay, yeah, I get being a little crunchy there, because what about invisibility? And sometimes you can end up with unique scenarios. I think 5th edition kind of shoots itself in the foot a little bit, harkening back too much to that 3rd edition era of like, let's explain every bespoke monster ability in this like laborious language to try to cover our bases so that way we're not caught out. You know what I mean? I don't know. Gripe. I'm very gripey today. I got a little gripey on Twitter as well. I'm just so sick of people telling me to homebrew stuff. I'm like, you don't know me, man. I'm literally doing it right now. All I do is homebrew every day, every session. I made 3 monsters for my camp this morning. Like, do not tell me how to homebrew. Do not tell me to solve problems in Dungeons and Dragons with homebrew. Ugh, I know. I'm just saying I shouldn't have to. Or I'm saying I'm identifying a problem. I'm like, I wish that these types of attacks of like different damage types meant more. You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that like I have the perfect solution. I'm not saying I couldn't think of a solution. But you get people who just say like, well, then why don't you do that? Ugh. I'm sorry. I'm getting spicy. Okay, that is the Ice Spear. There we go. It reads, melee weapon attack, plus 10 to hit, reach 10 feet, 1 target, hits for 2d8 piercing damage, plus 3d6 cold damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, or for 1 minute, its speed is reduced by 10 feet. It can either It can either take an action or a bonus action on each of its turns, but not both, and it can't take reactions. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Look at all that. How many words is that? The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. That is 28 words when you could be 2 words. Save ends. Ugh. Okay, that's that. Now, I want to kill the wall of ice because I think it's boring. I do want to put in an aura. I don't want to just call it an aura of cold. I feel like that's kind of boring. Let me grab my 4th edition monster manual, actually, because I want to see how the chilling command or whatever works mechanically. I'll be back. Yeah, I agree, Vaughn. There's so many good things 4E did. Right? That like everyone gives it a hard time. I think that's unfair. I don't think it's perfect. Like I've played it recently and like it's got problems. I understand why we went in a different direction, right? But like so much of what 5th edition is built on 4E's bones and everyone hates it and nobody remembers how boring and crappy 3.5 was. Don't even get me started. There's hot takes today. I'm shooting them around. All right, I'm getting my monster manual. Hot takes. I got him. You want him? I got him. I got him right here. Okay. Beautiful. Let's talk about the Ice Devil. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be streaming, everybody. You know, I missed it. Ice Devil. It just has a cold aura. Ooh, interesting. Enemies in the aura take a -2 penalty to all attack rolls. This, you want to talk about a flaw in 4th edition. This is a big one. They had too much math. One of the great things about 5th edition is advantage, disadvantage, right? They take so much of the in-the-moment math out of the equation. In 4th edition, you were constantly, oh, those grapple rules. Oh, dude, what I miss the least about 3.5, honestly, was the way that the Dungeon Master was, like, shackled to the same rules as the player characters. Like, if you wanted to have the party fight, like, a team or a group of like NPCs, you had to stat them up with levels as a character. That, and it took so long. Like if you're running like a 16th level party and it's like, okay, I want them to fight like this extraction team from this enemy faction. Great. Now I have to make 6 16th level PCs to fight them with. Like, again, the thing that 4th edition did is it made everything a monster, and the monster rules were different than the player character rules, right? They worked differently. And so you could very easily say, okay, yes, this guy looks like a town guard, but I don't actually have to stat up a 3rd level fighter. He's got this AC and this many hit points, and that's that, right? There was a period in the beginning of 5th edition where I was running, I think it was like still in D&D Next, I was running monsters that were so thin. They were like armor classes, hit points, attack rolls. And like that was the whole monster. You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, this is all I really need. And I think on a lot of cases that's the case. Obviously, we're making very complicated monsters to make them more interesting, but 4th edition understood it doesn't matter how many ranks and sense motive this character has. It's never going to need to use them. Okay, sorry, ranting a lot. Cold Aura. So anyway, the point is that yes, I'm sure you have opinions about that, Vaughn. I believe it. And again, listen, if you like 3.5, I shouldn't say it's crappy. I found it to be crappy and cumbersome and got in the way. If people enjoy the crunch, that's great. I think that's so crazy, David. The DMs who build PCs for NPCs. Like, I don't mind it, like, in certain cases, where it's like, okay, this is a very powerful person. I want them to have a spell list. I want, like, that's fine. Like, if you like to do it, that's okay. But I shouldn't have to do it. That shouldn't be the only way. And there was an attitude among players in 3rd edition where David loves spreadsheets. And again, like, that's okay. It's really okay if you like spreadsheets, if you like building PCs for NPCs. That's awesome. Like, I'm not going to stop anyone from doing that. I just don't want to have to. I run like 4 games a week. I do not have time to do that. I do not have time to make an 8th level character. Even though it's much faster in 5th edition, I still don't have that time. And I don't need to. It doesn't matter what skills they have 90% of the time. And especially in 3.5, it was totally different. Totally different in 3.5. You really had to go nuts, and the players would know. They're like, well, wait a minute, what level spell is that? What's his spellcraft bonus? How could he have that spellcraft bonus? Like, get me out of here. Okay. The cold aura. There's an aura 5. Enemies from the aura take a -2 penalty to all attack rolls. So we don't want to do the penalty. We don't want to do the math on that, right? 4th edition had a lot of this, where like advantage in 4th edition was just a +2 bonus to attack roll. So you had to constantly have like all of this math in your head, and there were things where like different powers were intersecting with each other, and they got blown way out of proportion. You know, ugh. The only reason I don't mainly play Pathfinder is because my friends do not like spreadsheets. Hey, listen, if I'm in a chat of predominantly spreadsheet heads, then, you know, I'm in the wrong here, obviously. You guys have come to my soapbox to hear my ranting. But that's okay. So what do we want? What do we think this cold aura does that like retains the flavor of a penalty to attack rolls? I think disadvantage on attack rolls is a little much. I like the idea of I have a thing with my white dragon, like it has a lair action where it can like plummet the temperature in the room, so to kind of have that like cold feeling. It could just be cold damage, right? Any creature that starts its turn within a certain distance of the Ice Devil just takes cold damage, which is fine, but I don't love it. I mean, like, I wonder if that's better than a penalty to attack rolls, because penalty to attack rolls is just going to waste time. You know what I mean? Like, you miss it, okay. It's one thing if it uses a resource. If it deals damage to you, I think that's pretty solid. Or if it does, like action control, right? If you're gonna freeze somebody, okay, now, you know, they can't do anything, and that's helping the Ice Devil because it's lowering the party's total actions. But just the party missing on attack rolls, not that fun. So, like I said, 4th edition is not perfect. We're gonna say Cold Aura, and we're gonna say any creature that starts its turn, I think 25 feet is too far. So any creature that starts its turn within 15 feet of the Ice Devil takes, what do we want to say? Not tons of damage, maybe 2d6. So what is that? 7 2d6 cold damage at the start of its turn. I know, we just do 2d6 cold damage. Yeah, that's something very simple, right? I think that's totally fine. Ooh, what if we also do a thing where is it difficult terrain? Any creature that starts its turn within 15 feet of the Ice Devil takes 7 cold damage. Any creature that ends its turn within 15 feet of the Ice Devil must make, or any creature that moves within, it's too, I was thinking about like a grease, like a slippery effect. I think it's just got a cold aura. I think that's fine. Cold aura more than meets the eye. Okay, and then we're going to give it excuse me, we're going to give it Chilling Command. Chilling Command here says it's a minor action, recharge 5/6. Close burst, so recharges also from this. Lower movement speed or difficult terrain. Yeah, that's my question, right? Is it like, does it make it, because my thought was it made it slippery because it's ice. Like difficult terrain would be like snow, I guess. I think that's too wintry for the Ice Devil, as weird as that sounds. Like, I think that's very nature, whereas like I think the Ice Devil just gives off like a supernatural cold. You want to add difficult terrain? I don't hate that idea. I kind of think it's the opposite. I kind of think that it lowers the movement speed. Any creature that starts his turn within 15 feet of the Ice Devil takes 7 cold damage and moves at half speed until the end of its turn. So I think the point is that not that the ground is really changing, but you are changing, right? Like you're like slowly freezing if you're in that cold aura. I think that's my compromise there, because I think difficult terrain feels a little naturey. Great. Okay, and then I want to look at Chilling Command. So it's a minor action, which implies a bonus action here, which I think that's still pretty good. It's a close burst 5, so it targets a bunch of people. Okay. It's attack versus will, so maybe it's a wisdom save. The target takes ongoing 5 cold damage and is immobilized. Save ends both. So I think we do Chilling Command. I think it's one creature. As a bonus action, the Ice Devil can speak a word of infernal command to another creature. If that creature is a devil, it gains... reduces speed by 10 feet. Yeah. It gains... how many temporary hit points? Maybe let's do 3d6? 10? 3d6 temporary hit points. Temporary hit points. And a +2 bonus to armor class as long as it has those hit points. It gains temporary hit points, a +2 bonus to armor class, vulnerability to fire, and vulnerability... oh no, that doesn't work because it has immunity to fire. A +2 bonus to and a +2 bonus to armor class. That's nasty. And a +2 bonus to armor class for as long as it has as long as it has temporary hit points. Great. We'll say those temporary hit points because you could get them from somewhere else theoretically. Great. If the creature is not a devil, if that creature is not a devil, it must make a DC. What do we think? What do we think is the correct saving throw here? DC 15, DC 15, Constitution saving throw. Saving throw, or take. We want more. Oh, we can do the same amount, right? It's a bonus action. 10, 3d6 cold damage, and their speed is reduced to 0. The target can... yeah, I love ice. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Vaughn. It's ice armor from 10 hit points. Yep. Thinking back on my white dragon, right? It is permafrost, I believe, is the ability. Hacking the ice away, right? It doesn't make sense to give them vulnerability to fire. But that's normally what I do with my white dragon, is that it covers itself in ice. It gets a bunch of temp hit points. It gets an armor class bonus, but then it also gains vulnerability to fire. So it takes the fire damage much better, and then, you know, it melts that ice away. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. This is 0 for 1 minute. For 1 minute. Each of its turns, ending the effect on a success. Okay. It's not a devil. So it's like it can give a command to one of its allies, right? Or it can kind of shout at an enemy. I think that's cool. Ooh, and it balanced out perfectly. Oh, I love that. Let me put chilling command a little higher. Ugh, I know, Vaughn. I should. I wish I could just type save ends, but I can't. I'm shackled to the rules of 5th edition. This is what they've done to me. No, I mean, I would in my own stuff, definitely, but if I'm making stuff for Patreon, then I want it to look like 5th edition. But you should see my janky my janky creatures that I make for myself. Ooh, jank zone. Jank.com. Okay, so that's the Ice Devil. Let me save it before I forget. We haven't even gotten to the Pit Fiend. We're already an hour in. Okay. I assumed the Pit Fiend was going to be the big one today. But nope, that's going to be the erinyes. Okay, erinyes. Let's get rid of you. Now, I don't really like them in 4th edition because they're very just like battlefield generals. There's all this sword stuff. And you definitely see some of that sword stuff here. My proposed fixes were a couple of things. I want that rope of entanglement back in. And I want to lean into the fallen angel idea. I like the idea that more of their powers are like they have one power that is a kind of celestial adjacent, and that's their hellish weapons, where all their attacks deal extra damage. But frustratingly, they deal poison damage, which I don't really think is that effective. I feel like at this point, most characters that are going to fight them are going to have some kind of resistance to poison. So my instinct is to say that it's psychic damage, because you could do fire, but I feel like fire is, yeah, just have those 28-ish words on your clipboard forever. Exactly. What was I going to say? Now I can't talk. Oh, fire damage is also one of those ones everyone's going to have resistance to. I like psychic damage, because you're leaning into the notion of the Furies, right? Like, they're coming after you. They are tormenting you for this mistake you have made, right? And so they're kind of like after your mind and your sanity. So I'm going to vote for psychic instead of poison. But otherwise, they don't really do much with the other angel abilities. I wanted to play with this idea of like, the Planetar has one of my favorite abilities in all of Dungeons and Dragons. It's called Divine Awareness. I love the efficiency of this power. Divine Awareness. The Planetar knows if it hears a lie. Period. Right? You can't lie to it. It's not even that like, oh, it makes a wisdom save to detect or... Well, no, it just knows. It knows if it hears one. I put one in front of my... one of my groups that were just like my one kids group that is like the most skeevy, like lying, sort of backstabbing group, and it just cut through all of their horse shit immediately. I love that. So what I want to do is I want to do the opposite thing, where no one can detect if the Erinyes is telling a lie, right? That it's the inverse. They're kind of like tempters and torturers. So anyway, my point is I want to pull a couple more abilities from the Celestials and like make the sort of dark twisted versions of them. Like they have healing touch traditionally. I want a version of healing touch that's like a draining touch, almost like the succubus. Okay, so let's get in here, but first of all we have to change them. We have to bump them up to CR 14 to have them replace the the Ice Devil. Okay, devil, flipping around in my book. I recorded the first dragon episode the other day. I also finally reached out to some people, some guests, and I have 3 guests lined up for the next little slate of episodes. I think that's going to be really cool. I'm very excited for our guests. I think they're all great guests, and I'm excited to talk to each one of them. Okay, Erinyes, the Ice Devil, we're going to borrow your stats, Ice Devil. So, yep, 18. We want to increase your hit dice. Let's go to 20. We want to get closer to like 180. 170 is pretty good. 22 is better. 21? Yeah, 178 is pretty good. Okay, 178. Yep, the flying and everything like that's fine. We're gonna give you 21 strength because that's what the Ice Devil has. Keep your dex where it's at. Con where it's at. Int can be a little higher, I think. I was thinking about fear. Here's my thought with fear. I, first of all, hot take, don't like fear very much as an effect. I think it's not bad, but I think that it's hard to kind of really impress properly on a player, and it doesn't feel very fun. See, I disagree. I think it's too much fear. But we are going to do a lot of fear stuff today because I think that fear is the domain of the Pit Fiend. I think the Pit Fiend should have the nastiest fear effects of all time. So we are definitely going to do a bunch of fear, but it's going to be with the Pit Fiend. I am okay with a couple of monsters leaning way into fear, and that's definitely going to be the Pit Fiend. I'm excited to pump the fear on that thing. So we might put a fear effect on the Erinyes. I'm not opposed to it. But I think that's primarily the domain of the Pit Fiend today, is my opinion. We're gonna bump that intelligence. We're gonna bump it up. We're gonna go 15 wisdom and 18 charisma. Dexterity, con, wisdom, charisma. Yep. Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical weapons, or from non-silver weapons. Cold fire, poison. That's all good. All the rest of this is good. Yeah, they keep their true sight. That's fine. Devil sight, magic resistance. Okay, good. Now hellish weapons. I want to change to the psychic. The psychic damage. Yeah. Sorry to any German listeners. In my Ravenloft game, I have a von Richten. He's like one of the primary characters. Don't tell my players he's secretly the Dark Lord. And I do the worst German accent imaginable. Just the worst. Absolutely garbage. But the kids are kids. They don't know the difference. So I'm doing this accent. It's very bad. And yeah, it's almost Scandinavian at times. That one was really bad. That's way worse than my normal one. But it's like so stupid. It's such a silly German accent that doesn't work at all. And the kids just eat it up because they don't know the difference. Necrotic could work. I like Psychic for this. I want them to be tormenting their mind. Tormentors. Magic resistance is good. Let me look. Oh, yeah, we wanted to do... What's the opposite of Divine Awareness? Oh, we don't want Infernal Bargain. Infernal Deceit? I like Infernal Deceit. Yeah. Infernal Deceit. Abilities. Infernal Deceit. No creature or spell can determine whether or not a Erinyes is lying. Magic resistance is fine. I don't think there's like any other big angel one we need to do there. Makes it 3 attacks. Okay. So let's get, ooh, you know what? I actually need to dig out the rope of entanglement because I want to put that in here because the monster manual did not do it for me. So this is the 3rd book grab during our stream. I don't know why I do this. For a long time I was bad and I never grabbed the monster manual. Now I've gotten used to grabbing the monster manual, but I always need something else. So let me grab my Dungeon Master's Guide. I'll be right back. Ooh, I don't mind a command effect. I want like guilt or something like that, you know? We'll be right back. What would the command effect do, Yvonne? I will master the dungeon. Me, a dungeon master. Yeah, I'm in a goofy mood today, if you couldn't tell. The dungeon master. Rope. Rope of entanglement. There it is. One thing I love about this Dungeon Master's Guide, there's a picture of almost everything. I love that. 30 feet long, weighs 3 pounds, who cares? If you hold one end of the rope and use an action to speak its command word, the other end darts forward to entangle a creature you can see within 20 feet of you. The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or become restrained. You can release the creature by using a bonus action to speak a second command word. Target restrained by the rope can make an action to make a DC 15 strength or dexterity check. On a success, the creature is no longer restrained by the rope. Yeah, okay. I just feel like it's weird to put this here and not put it in the monster. You know what I'm saying? And like literally in the picture she has one. She has one in the picture, and so does the Ice Devil. The Ice Devil also has a spear in the picture. Ugh. Okay. My life is very hard. Why is Dungeons and Dragons doing this to me? Okay, entanglement. The rope of entanglement. So we don't need a lot of this because I don't really care. One creature of the erinyes lashes out with a magical rope. One creature within 30 feet. That says 20 feet, but I'm going to say that's 30 feet. Within 30 feet of the erinyes must succeed on a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or become restrained. Escape. DC. Ooh, what about this, Vaughn? What about we do a fear effect thing? Because I don't know where we would put the fear effect. Maybe it's an ability, maybe it's not. But I like the idea of saying something like a frightened creature cannot attempt to escape the rope. Right? So the idea is that like they frighten you because they show up like ding dong motherfucker, right? Like you broke the contract. They have a fear effect, and then they try to flee. They get entangled, and then while they're entangled, they can't attempt to escape. Or while they're frightened, they can't attempt to escape. Right? I think something like that's cool. So then it's like you have to get over your fear first, then you can attempt to get out of the rope. So then I'm not opposed to there being a fear effect. I think that's cool. Escape DC 15. Yeah, I mean, I think that's that. That goes under actions. The question is, how does that work in with the ooh, the command makes you confess your sin, the oath you broke. Huh, that's interesting. How would you mechanize that though? Like, I could see that being an action, because that's how command works, right? It's like you have to spend your next turn doing this. What if it's called, yeah, confession as an action? Or as a bonus action, maybe? Confession. As a bonus action, the erinyes can force... What if you do this? One condemned creature. Creature within 120 feet. One condemned creature it can see to, and it has true sight. So let's actually remove it can see because it's true sight. One condemned creature within 120 feet to make a DC X wisdom saving throw. On a failed save. Ooh, yeah, maybe that's it, Vaughn. Is that like, it's almost a Wonder Woman thing, right? Like while they're tied up in the rope, they have to spend their action. Okay, so you make a dexterity saving throw. Ooh, that's better. Yeah, Vaughn, I love that. I mean, the question is, so maybe we change a frightened creature. We do a condemned creature. A condemned creature cannot attempt to escape the rope until it has confessed its sins. So what I'm thinking is that, like, we do a sidebar in the monster entry about like how they work, right? That like a creature that breaks its contract with Asmodeus is condemned, right? And then like the erinyes can sense the presence of a condemned creature. I might actually get rid of Infernal Deceit because now it feels like that's not actually that relevant, right? They can hunt them down on whatever plane they're on or whatever, right? Like that it's like it's a condition, yes, but it's only a condition in this very specific circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Until it has confessed its sin. Love that. Yep. There it is. Very nice work. Incredible. Love that. So let's go. I want to really quick change this before I forget. Plus 3d6 psychic damage. That's the action. The longbow. Plus psychic damage. I don't care about it being poisoned. I don't care. I don't really want it to have a longbow. I don't really care. Like, that feels very silly. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Makes 3 attacks. 1 with its, or 2 with its longsword and 1 with its rope of entanglement. 2 with its longsword and 1 with its rope of entanglement. Entanglement. Oh, let's put this in here too. I'm going to extend the reach on that then. Add action. The erinyes can only grapple one target, one creature at a time. At a time. If multiple... Yeah, but like... You should be there, but you should be there, like, they should be there to grab the person and go. If you're fighting an erinyes, it's because you've made a mistake. They're going to grab the person, they're going to flee, right? If multiple erinyes, multiple ropes, no, it's fine. Because I like the idea of all 3 of them descending on you, right? And then all 3 of them grab you. But that's fine. You can only grapple 1 creature at a time. So then what we need, excuse me, I like the idea of a version of healing touch. What's the, like, you know, I don't care about parry really either. Do we do something about like Hound the Condemned or something like that? That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep, exactly what I was thinking. Hound the Condemned. Condemned. Let me get the Revenant out. The Revenant, Revenant. That's the theme song to the Leonardo da Vinci, the Leonardo DiCaprio film Revenant. Revenant, Revenant. That's how it goes. I've actually still never seen that film. I'd like to. Revenant, 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 Revenant. Vengeful Tracker. Got it. The Revenant. Nope, not a Revenant. The erinyes knows the distance to and the direction of any condemned creature, even if the creature and the erinyes are on different planes of existence. Okay, my wife just came home, so now we can know the truth. How is it pronounced? The Furies. How do you erinyes? Erinyes? Erinyes. Okay. Okay, my wife says erinyes, and she's a classics major, so we're gonna trust her on that. Yeah, I'm still not gonna get it right. I'm gonna say erinyes right now, and then, you know, in like 5 minutes, I'm gonna say erinyes or whatever. Okay. If the creature being tracked by the erinyes dies, the erinyes. Well, but like they don't need that because if they die, they go. Well, no, because they've gotten out, right? They've escaped the erinyes nose. Hound the Condemned. Okay, that is an ability. Now I still want that magic touch thing. Don't care about this parry. Who cares? They're not sword fighters. Why does that matter? They're the Furies. Are magical, dealing extra. On the Condemned. How do we feel like they did having vulnerability to Radiant? Is that cool? I kind of like that. A little Agnemon in there. We need more vulnerabilities in general. That was another kind of sub point to my like. I wish types mattered more. Is that if there were more vulnerabilities, then what kind of damage type you were hitting a monster with would make a bigger deal, you know? But they don't. They don't matter because nothing matters because it's 5th edition. Grouchy. Okay. Let us look at the Angel. So my instinct is like I'm thinking of the I think it's the Illrigger. Matt Colville's like Hell Paladin has like a version of the of like Lay on Hands that sort of like it takes health from you and it can give it to other people. So I think it's some kind of a thing like that. Exactly how it works, I don't know. Because it feels a little succubus to like drain your health. I'm not sure if that's really what I want to do. But there's another creature. The Planetara touches another creature. The target magically regains 30, 68 plus 3 hit points and is freed from any curse, disease, poison, blindness, or deafness. So it could curse you, right? It could give you a level of madness. Yeah, harm or inflict wounds. Yeah, I want it to be a unique power though, rather than have to go look up a spell. You know, it should just be printed here because it's weird to have one spell-like ability that's inflict wounds. I like a level of madness because like that's what they did, right? They drove people crazy. Yeah, I like that. Maddening touch. I guess it would be a melee attack. Melee spell attack based on charisma. Maddening touch. Charisma to hit, reach 5 feet. 1 target. Hit is like 68. We'll do 4d8. Charisma. Psychic damage, and the target gains 1 short-term madness. Let me look at. Yeah, I think level of madness is right. A level of madness. Could be exhaustion too. Ooh, what if it's exhaustion and it's guilt? Do we think guilt is better than? Do you think exhaustion is better than madness? I mean, madness is more interesting for like role playing, but I like guilt. Short term. Yeah, I like short term madness. Okay, let's do that. It gains 1 short term madness for 1d4 days. Well, that's a long time because those are like paralyzation and stuff. For 1d4 minutes. For 1d10 minutes. 1d10 rounds, 1d4 rounds. Let's do 1d4 rounds. So it's just like a little bout of it, right? That is an ability. Oh, nope, that is an attack. Let me get it in here. That's an action. Okay. Maddening touch, rope of entanglement. Do we still need this parry? Do we think this is still valuable? I don't know if it's valuable. Let's keep it. It's not gonna hurt. Okay, that is the Erinyes. We're gonna move on because we got to get through the Pit Fiend. Exhaustion is mechanically scarier, But I think that could stack really quickly and we get out of hand, right? So let's do madness. I think that's more in line with what it actually is. Okay, we have about 45 minutes to do the Pit Fiend. That should be enough. My problem. Thank you for helping me with the erinyes, everybody. See, I forgot. Erinyes? Who knows? My problem with the Pit Fiend is that, and this is my same problem I had with the Balor, it should feel like a campaign boss. This is the most powerful, royal devil in the 9 hells, and they just don't really do that. They just don't hit at that weight class. Let's look at them mechanically. They got CR 19, 300 hit points, 30-foot speed, 60-foot fly speed. Obviously, great stats, great saves, normal devil resistances and immunities, blah, 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 true sight, telepathy. They do have a fear aura. You know, any creature hostile to the Pit Fiend that starts its turn within 20 feet of the Pit Fiend must make a wisdom save. I failed to save their fright until the start of their turn. But if their saving throw is successful, they're immune to the Pit Fiend's fear aura for the next 24 hours. So it's only until the start of its turn. And then if they're successful, they're not afraid of the Pit Fiend anymore. Like, that's shittier than Frightful Presence. That's worse than Frightful Presence. Right? I guess it's not because it's not an action, but it doesn't last as long. Then you got magic resistance, you got magic weapons. It's got some innate spellcasting that's kind of fun. Like Fireball at will feels cool. Hold monster, fine. Wall of fire, fine. Multi-attack, it's got 4 attacks. It's got a bite that for some reason deals a big pile of poison damage. So it's poison, or like it hits you, and then it's a con save, and you become poisoned. If you're poisoned, you can't regain hit points, which I think is cool. But you take 21 poison damage at the start of each of your turns. They can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns, and then the effect on a success. Poison just feels really weird for a Pit Fiend to me. I don't know why. It's got claws. It's got a mace that deals fire. It's got a tail. Underwhelming. Where are their legendary actions? Where are the lair actions? It's a Pit Fiend, right? Like, this is Satan. Like, what are we doing? It's a Pit Fiend. It's at least a Balrog, right? Like, it's at least Balrog level of important. Like, maybe it's not Sauron, but this is Gothmog that we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Come on. So my proposed fixes are this. I say we make that fear aura as scary as humanly possible. That fear, you should be so scared of this goddamn thing. I want to have a thing that says, like, creatures immune to fear are not immune to the Pit Fiend's fear effect. Get them. Chase them down. You know, this should be the scariest thing in Dungeons & Dragons. Even just, like, from a frightened level, right? I want it to have a symbol of pain. It had a symbol of pain in 4th edition. What happened to my symbol of pain? Give it back to me, right? I want it. Delicious. I want a yummy symbol of pain. I like the idea of the bite. Sure, maybe you can't regain your hit points. That's cool, but I don't want it to be poison damage. Why does it have like a big poison maw like a Komodo dragon? It's a Pit Fiend. That's silly. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do that. I also would love for you guys to help me think up some legendary actions and some lair actions, because the Pit Fiend, I don't think it has regional effects. I think that the Balor has regional effects, because the Balor is like a force of chaotic energy, right? The Balor, like, once it arrives on the material plane, it warps everything around it. It's this like horrible like anomaly, this bug in the system. The Pit Fiend, if you encounter it, you should be finding it in its lair, right? A Pit Fiend has a lair. It's lawful. So I would love lair actions, and I would love legendary actions for the Pit Fiend, but we're not going to bother with regional effects. Because I think those are very much determined by the level of hell that you find it on. I'm jumping around like a fool. Okay, here we go. Pit Fiend. Armor class is fine. Hit points are fine. All that stuff is fine. Let's rewrite this fear aura. We did want to put Infernal Bargain in there as well, but just say that it gets something cool. Infernal Bargain. Here we go. When a creature within, is it 120 feet of telepathy again? Telepathy is 120 feet. Within 120 feet of the Pit Fiend. You know what? Nope. Within 1 mile of the Pit Fiend. Who cares? Makes a death saving throw. I love the idea of like, ooh, yes, Pit of Despair. Yes. 100%. Definitely something that's called Pit of Despair. Love that. It makes me think about, obviously that's a reference to Princess Bride, but it makes me think about Darkest Dungeon. There's a line in Darkest Dungeon where the narrator, when you like slay something, goes back to the pit, and I always really like back to the pit. I love the idea of being in a pit fiend's lair and fighting your way through the levels and the dungeons and the monsters, and you fall unconscious, and then suddenly the pit fiend appears in your mind, right? Like, because it's within 1 mile. I love that. When a creature within 1 mile of the pit fiend makes a death saving throw, the devil can offer the creature a bargain. A delicious bargain. Would you like to live deliciously? If the creature surrenders its soul to the pit fiend. This is the nice thing about working on fiends, is it's like everything is so metal. Like surrendering your soul, right? That's metal as hell. It immediately gains all the benefits of a long rest. We should have just copied it. What am I doing? Oh well, I'm halfway there already. We gotta change the next part anyway. Of a long rest. In addition, the pit fiend regains... I think it regains hit points, right? Does it regain the same number of hit points as the player? Because that feels too powerful. It regains maybe like a quarter of its hit points. How many hit dice does it have? It regains... It is 24 hit dice. It regains 8d12? 8d10 hit points? I think 8d10 hit points is pretty funny. 8d10 hit points. I don't know what the math is on that, but it'll do it for me. It regains 8d10 hit points. Or are they temporary hit points, do we think? Yeah. Well, that's very similar to the demons. Like, the demons get more powerful when they get a soul, right? Or when they kill someone. So it's like, what do we do to make them feel different? Does it summon another devil? Right? I don't know. What do we think is the pit fiend's reward for getting a soul? Because it can't be promoted anymore, right? It can get more powerful, but maybe it gains the soul, and then like at some point the devil can like crush the soul to gain more hit points or something, to empower itself. Like it holds on to it. 44 hit points, thank you. Thank you, Vaughn. I'm going to come back to this. We're just going to put this in as an ability, and we'll come back to it. I need to figure out what does it gain as a result. Any creature hostile to the pit fiend that starts its turn within 20 feet of the pit fiend must make a DC 21 wisdom saving throw unless the pit fiend is incapacitated. On a failed save, the creature is frightened until the start of its next... Is frightened. Period. Is frightened. A creature that cannot see the pit fiend... A creature that starts its turn more than 100 feet away from the pit fiend. What if we do is frightened? Frightened for 1 hour? A creature that starts its turn for 1 hour. A creature that starts its turn... Oh boy, the typing. Starts its turn more than 120 feet from the pit fiend. That cannot see the pit fiend. A creature that cannot see the pit fiend and starts its turn more than 120 feet away from it. Starts its turn more than 120 feet of it. Can make a saving throw. A saving throw. Oh, it ends its turn. Yeah, that ends its turn more than 120 feet away. Make a saving throw at the end of its turn, ending the effect on a success. Creatures immune to fear are not immune to the pit fiend's aura. Yeah, I think gather, like crushing the souls and eating them is cool. Creatures are not immune. Creatures immune to few are not immune to the Pit Fiend's aura. Hold on, my fan got moved. I'm gonna move it. 1 second. Are not immune to the Pit Fiend's aura. Creatures immune to few are not immune to the Pit Fiend's aura. Yeah, I think that's fine. Because like if you have like a advantage on saving throws against fear, I think that's fine to still have that, right? But it's like it's everyone is affected by it is the point. Okay, that is the ability. Let's go back into Infernal Bargain then. Gains the benefits of a long rest. A Pit Fiend can spend an action, spend a bonus action. Ooh, I like this. To deal. Let's not do 8d10 because that's, well, we are at 20th level. Yeah, screw it. 8d10 fire damage to can spend a bonus action to destroy the soul. Destroy the soul, dealing 8d10 fire damage to the creature who surrendered it. And regaining hit points equal to the amount of damage taken. Points. Yeah, exactly. Hey, what's up, Hunter? Thanks for coming. Regaining hit points equal to the fire damage dealt. So it's like you give it to me and it's mine. Oh, that is from the Demi-Lich. Shoot. Thanks, Hunter. You are awesome. I hope you are well. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm in like a weird punchy mood today. Very punchy. But that's good. It's good. Yeah, though, Vaughn, you're right. We did use this with the Demi-Lich. Shoot. We're trying to think of a cool thing all of our devils, right? They upgrade when they get a soul, or there's a chance they upgrade when they get a soul. I mean, there is like the D20 thing, right? Like you roll the D20, if you get a 20, this thing happens. Like, is it something like that? Is it like you roll the you roll the D20 again, and if you get a 20, does it summon an archdevil? Does it instantly kill the person whose soul was given to them, right? I kind of like that, right? It's like the bill has come due. I have your soul. I'm taking it now. I don't care. In addition, roll 1d20. On a 20, the creature who surrendered the soul, the creature instantly dies and cannot be resurrected. What do you call what's the lowest form of devil? Is it a mains? No, it's a demon, I think. Oh, what's up, Hunter? I'm ready. Prepare for me to shoot this idea down. Because that's what I do. That's what I'm known for. I'm known for shooting down ideas. A lemure dies and cannot be resurrected. In its place appears a lemure. Loyal, that follows the Pit Fiend's commands. Correct, Hunter. Correct. Pit Fiend. That's kind of what we're trying to figure out here. Yeah, and that's exactly. We are right on the same thing. So they don't make demons, right? Because they make devils. But that's exactly what it is, right? So I think it's that, like, they take the soul, right? You give it to them, and they roll a d20, and if they get that 20, they take the soul now, right? Like, in the moment. Because there's no... No, that's okay. I make that mistake all the time. I'm like, if you listen to the podcast, I had to constantly change out devils and demons all the time. Dude, no worries. Invulnerability. How long does invulnerability last? Because I like the idea of that natural 20, right? That it's like, that's the point of it, is that it's only going to happen if you accept it. And I have to go get my player's handbook if I want to look up invulnerability. I like In its place appears a lemure that follows the Pit Fiend's commands. That is loyal to the Pit Fiend and follows its command. That's my thinking. So you're basically rolling the dice. You can take that. When a creature within 1 mile of the Pit Fiend makes a death saving throw, the devil can offer the creature a bargain. If the creature surrenders its soul to the Pit Fiend, it immediately gains all the benefits of a long rest. In addition, roll 1d20. On a 20, the creature instantly dies and cannot be resurrected. In its place appears a lemure that is loyal to the Pit Fiend and follows its commands. I don't need an apostrophe there. I think that's cool. I think it's like, you're rolling the dice here, buddy. You can take this thing, but I get your soul. And the soul's given, right? Like, you can't get it back. It's still, even if you don't get the natural 20, the Pit Fiend still owns your soul, right? Like, that doesn't come back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Infernal Bargain. That's my take on it. We gotta move on, unfortunately, but I do think that's very cool. I'm sorry it took so long to get here. That's the Fear Aura. That's magic weapons, magic resistance. Let's jump over to the action. Oh, I wanted the Symbol of Pain though. Symbol of Pain. What if we got rid of innate spellcasting? We just gave it Fireball. Yeah, we're just going to give it Fireball as one of its actions because innate spellcasting is boring. And we can put Wall of Fire as one of its legendary actions. Okay, so get rid of innate spellcasting. I want the Symbol of Pain. Oh, sure, it's totally too weak. Oh, 100%. I mean, because the Lemure is CR 0. The point is to, like, mock them, right? Is say, like, this was your friend. The Lemure is the little the little graboids in Little Mermaid, right? Like, it's just literally to say, like, this is your friend, and now they're mine, and they're starting the beginning of their devil journey. Yeah, totally. The Lemure's not going to do anything. It's not going to help them in the combat. It's just to, like, you see what you have done. Yeah, that's why it's a Lemure. Because yeah, I mean, otherwise you'd put a horned devil or something. You'd put like something that could actually fight them. Totally, it's way too weak. That's the point. It's not meant to be a threat. It's just meant to be a troll. Okay, I have to get my player's handbook. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a little poop emoji. That's exactly what it is. It's shit, right? That's the whole point of the monster. Although our Lemures are a little bit better, but not not better enough to challenge them. It is time to get the third and final book from 5th edition. Oh, I've gotten every single one over the course of this stream. I'll be right back with the player's handbook. We have a half an hour to break this thing. Start brainstorming legendary actions for me, okay? Legendary actions. I'll be right back. Player's handbook. Okay, we have 2 player's handbooks. One of them, mine is like in 1,000 pieces, and then my wife's one is actually intact. I still need to send in my old one to get them to send me a new version, but I just am so lazy. I've never done it. Okay, symbol. Symbol of pain. Symbol. Okay, wow. Cast a spell, you inscribe a harmful glyph. Either, who cares? Pain. Each target must make a Constitution saving throw or become incapacitated with excruciating pain for 1 minute on a failed save. I like that. Okay, so let's do, that's going to be an action then. Symbol of Pain is going to be an action. It's going to be on a recharge. Uh-oh. What's up, Hunter? All creatures... not if it's out of date. So there was a printing problem with the first run of 5e PHBs where the glue was bad, and so like the binding came apart and the pieces kind of fell everywhere. And they said that they will replace your book if that's the problem, because it was like a printing error. I still have not done that, even though it was like, I think like 5 years ago that they offered that. So maybe they wouldn't still honor it anymore, but I never ended up turning it in. I believe only for that specific reason, though, you know, you could try. A lot of times if you complain to customer service, they will just give you whatever it is that you want. All creatures within... Now I closed the symbol when I still needed it open because I'm not smart. My brain is missing. Let me know if you have seen it. Symbol. How big is it, though? 60-foot radius. All creatures within 60 feet of the Pit Fiend. Within 60 feet of the Pit Fiend. must make... Oh, I'm sorry. Flak Cannon did. Must make DCX Constitution saving throws. Taking... On a failure, the target is incapacitated with pain for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turn, ending the effect on a success. What a waste of 26 words. What is the DC on this nonsense? DC 21. We're going to say DC 19 because you're hitting a lot of people at once. That was always a good rule in 4th edition too, was they had like nice math on how to calculate a DC and how to adjust that DC depending on what it could do. So if you were targeting a lot of people, then you would have a lower DC. If it was dealing more damage than it would normally at that level, it was a lower DC, things like that. I always love that stuff. Okay, that's Symbol of Pain. Symbol of Pain. Oh, right, and we wanted to, I kind of want to bundle that in the, I want to bundle the, like, hit points thing into the Symbol of Pain. Target's incapacity with pain for 1 minute. Incapacity with pain and cannot regain hit points for 1 minute. A target can repeat the saving throw. Yeah, I like that. That's better. And so then the bite can just be the bite. The bite is 4d6 piercing. It just feels weird to bite somebody, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. I think it's just a bite. I think it's just very simple like that. Bite, claw, mace, tail. It can replace 2 of those attacks with a fireball. Let's do Hurl Flame with Hurl Flame. Ooh, I love that, Vaughn. There you go. I did like Pit of Despair, yeah. Because I was thinking I think Pit of Despair could be that you like cast someone into hell, right, for a turn. That they're just like sent to the lowest level and they're like tortured and they come back. Like, I think spending a legendary action to recharge Symbol of Pain is really good, but I think we could still use Pit of Despair as something else. They just like send somebody to the Pit of Despair, you know? Great. Let's go action and then go Hurl Flame. Hurl a Flame. This is a ranged spell attack. I'll just say it's a ranged strength. Yeah, it's strength. Strength attack. Use preset. Hurl Flame. Yeah, I think that's cool. You'd like, because again, this is the kind of stuff that 4th edition did all the time, where they would just like, I cast this on you, and then you vanish, and you're tortured for what feels to you like a millennia, and then you appear next turn. Right? There was one called like Hurl Through the Plains, I think was like a high-level wizard daily power, where yeah, you just like, poof, like Doctor Strange them into 9 different dimensions of torment, and they show up like, oh, next round. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Then we're talking about a pit fiend. You know what I mean? This has got to be the worst, nastiest stuff. Okay, what is the range on this Hurl Flame? I imagine it's pretty far. We're going to say that it's 120 feet. 120 feet, 1 target. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to say that it is just damage, that it is 8d6. We'll say it's 66 because fire damage. And each creature within 15 feet of the target must make a DC 19 dexterity saving throw or take half damage. On a success, they take half damage. On a failure, on a failed save, they take half damage. Or take half damage. That's right. Or take half damage. So it hits one person, right? I'm throwing this at you, but it's such a big like Hurl Flame that it hits everybody within 15 feet, like a big 30-foot thing. So it's basically Fireball, but it's a little bit less damage as a result. Banish an unwilling creature to hell. Choose a creature within your reach and make a melee spell attack against it. On a hit, the creature must make a Christmas saving. Yeah, I gotta get that Christmas saving throw in there. Okay, so that is an action. Thanks for busting out those, working on those legendary actions for me, man. That's what I need. That's the juice that I require. Okay, let's go legendary actions. Yeah, you bet your ass it's legendary. Oh, we should give a legendary resistance then. Aha! Legendary resistance. There you go. That's an ability, baby. Okay. So, Pit of Despair. The Pit Fiend sends one creature hurtling through hell. Through the hells. One creature... Oh no, let's just do this. One creature within 120... let's do short. Let's do smaller than that. One creature within 30 feet... Oh, maybe he has to grab them. I think that's kind of cool. Ooh. That's not bad, Vaughn. Yeah, because we can still do both, right? That, like, you still get that natural 20 thing, and yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to Pit of Despair. You can choose to succeed instead. Legendary resistance. It can do this as many times. Okay, hold on. Infernal resistance. Infernal resistance. The Pit Fiend begins the combat with 1d3 souls. With 3 souls. If the Pit Fiend fails a saving throw, it can burn one of those souls to succeed instead. Right. Yeah, beautiful. So clean. Love that. Delicious. Delicious. Give it to me, baby. Okay, so we're doing Pit of Despair. Pit of Despair. One creature. Oh, it's a melee spell attack. The Pit Fiend makes a melee spell attack. Oh, what if we do this as melee spell attack? Charisma? Yeah. Costs. What do you think? Do we think this costs 3 actions? Costs 2 actions? Use preset. Pit of Despair. I hate that. Pit of Despair costs 2 actions. Do we think this is 2? It's like banishment, melee spell attack, charisma to hit, reach. What is the thing's reach? 15 feet? 10 feet. Reach 10 feet, 1 target. Hit. The target. Because I think making them grab you and make a charisma saving throw is too much. Right? I think the target has to make a charisma saving throw to come back. Right? The target is banished to the 9 hells. Each banished to the 9 hells, a creature that starts its turn banished takes, what do we think? What's a reasonable amount of damage every round for this? Takes, yeah, I think 2 is about right. Takes 4d6 fire, piercing, and psychic damage. Oh, what if we do this? What if we do 2d6 fire, 2d6 piercing, and 2d6 psychic? That way it's 66. Okay. 2d6. So you're being tortured, right? 2d6 piercing and 2d6 psychic. Takes 2d6 fire, 2d6 piercing, and 2d6 psychic damage. A creature can end the effect. Oh, how does banishment work? I should get the specific phrasing on this. Disappears. Because banishment has all these rules. Seems like banishment has all these rules. 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 Banishment has See, so I think it's closer to banishment than it is to plane shift. You know, like you are sent to hell, but you're not really in hell. You're just kind of in this like little demi-plane of torture. Christmas saving throw, named the plane of existence, you banish it. Target remains there until the spell ends. But they stay there until the spell ends. So I think this is like you can end, can return, disappears, the target disappears and is banished. Or be banished. Be banished the night until while there, the target is incapacitated. I'm such a softie. Incapacitated. How do you spell this goddamn word? Incapacitated. I am being nice and letting them come back from hell. I mean, like, do you think it should be permanent? Like, you're there, you're just in hell? Maybe you're right. That's pretty nasty. Because you're 20th level. You're right. You're right. I was thinking of 4th edition. You're right. I did like the idea of taking all this damage. That, like, they put you in hell and you're imprisoned and stuff, right? That, like, I like that. So maybe we do something similar where you take a bunch of that damage. Okay, the target is banished to the 9 hells. All right. Whee! Let's see. The devil, the pit fiend chooses which level? Chooses. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Vaughn. I was thinking of something else. You're right. That's better. It just sends you to hell. Goodbye. Because, you know, chances are good. You've got the save. You know, you've got teleport, or someone can teleport there, grab you, and come back. Like, come on. You're right, Vaughn. You're right. Plane shift. Bye, Felicia. Exactly. Chooses which level. Off to hell. Okay, yeah, so let's just copy the thing. Yep. Make a melee spell attack against it. On a hit, the target makes a Christmas saving throw. Yeah, you're right. Let's just copy it. You were right, Vaughn. You were right. On a hit, the target makes a Christmas saving throw. Because there is actually something kind of cool about, like, okay, it hits you. Now make a Christmas saving throw. I don't take any damage? No. What's going to happen? Target must make a Christmas saving throw. Must make a charisma saving throw. And it's charisma, which not a lot of people have. On a failure, the target is banished. The 9 hells. A creature so banished must find its own way back. A creature to 9 hells. It chooses which level. Chooses whichever level it desires. A creature so banished must find its own way back to the previous plane of existence. That's horrifying. Oh, I love that so much. Okay, so I think it's 1 legendary action to recharge Symbol of Pain, right? I want to call it like no pain, no gain or something like that, right? But that's stupid. So that's 1. Is off to hell is 2. Do we think it's 2 to recharge the Symbol of Pain? Because the Symbol of Pain's pretty gnarly. That's metal is what it is. Yeah, you're right. We only have 10 minutes. Shoot, I might have to save layer actions and do those on my own. In 10 minutes, we can think of 2 cool legendary actions. We already have 1 of them. I just need a cool name for it, and I need to figure out how many actions it costs, how many points it costs, or legendary actions. I think it costs 1. I don't know what it's called, but it's the Pit Fiend recharges its Symbol of Pain. You think 2 is better? Symbol of Pain. Okay. Costs 2 charges. That is the... I don't know what it's called yet. I'll get there. One more thing. So is this like a Is this a fire thing? Does it summon a demon? Does it summon like a demon? A devil at low CR? I kind of like that. Maybe it costs 3 actions, but it can summon one of the erinyes or something. I dig that. Yeah, you can only do it 3 times. Summon erinyes. The pit fiend. This costs 3 actions. Buffeting wings is cool. That's true. Oh no, we said wall of fire. We said wall of fire. That's what we were gonna do. Yeah, wall of fire. I like eternal anguish. That's a good name. Eternal anguish. I'm gonna do anguish unending, I think. Anguish unending. That's gonna be 1. That's gonna be 1, bro. That's gonna be 1. That's gonna be a 1 from me, dog. You know? No, you're right. It should be 2. They should all be 2. I like the having 3 that cost 2. That each time you have to decide which one you want to do. Wall of fire. Wall of fire. Let's look up the spell Wall of Fire. Wall of fire. This has been a great stream, everybody. I love these monsters. We did a great job. Wall of fire, if I remember correctly, is like very wordy though. The pit fiend creates a wall of fire. Creates a wall. Anguish unending. Yeah, it's super edge. I agree. Creates a wall of fire. Creates a wall of fire. Up to 60 feet long, 20 feet high, and 1 foot thick. You think this costs 1? Because I kind of wonder if Anguish Unending costs 1. Yeah, maybe this does cost 1 because, like, once you do it, it lasts for a little while, so you probably won't be doing it again and again. I'm into that. When the wall appears, creates a wall of fire 16 feet long. That lasts for 1 turn. It lasts for 1d4 turns. This is almost just like this kind of feels like a lair action to me. What do you guys think? Is this a lair action? Trust your feelings. This is a lair action, I think. You know? Shoot. Okay, shoot. So maybe it is Buffeting Wings then. Yeah, let's do Buffeting Wings. I like the idea of it stoking fires. I think that's cool. Buffeting Wings. Buffeting Wings. The Pit Fiend flies its speed. All creatures within 60 feet of the Pit Fiend must make a DC. I think that's it. Because, again, like, legendary actions are things that the creature does. If it has a layer action, then it's like terrain effects, right? DC 21 strength saving throw. Or be pushed 15 feet and knocked prone. Ooh, all sources of fire, of flame. I love that. Buffet wings. Yeah, they're like buffalo wings. Buffet wings. All sources of flame within the area explode. Forcing creatures to, like, ooh, that's great too, because if there are sources of flame in the lair, the buffeting wings like pushes them, like he can push them towards these things, right? And then they blow. Yeah. Forcing creatures within 10 feet of them. I love that, Hunter. That's great. To make DC 19 dexterity saving throws. Or take 10 3d6 fire damage. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And that costs 1. I think that's cheap. I think it's cheap as hell. Okay, so it's Buffeting Wings is 1, Anguish Unending, and then Pit of Despair. Yeah, y'all. Absolutely. Let's put Infernal thing over there. Alright, there you go. Pit Fiend. That's so much better. I'll get some layer actions on my end, one of which will definitely be Wall of Fire. But I love that. There we go. is very, very much a raid boss, like almost definitionally a raid boss, right? Okay, cool. I gotta run. We are out of time. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Shout out to David, to Hunter, to Vaughn, also to George Washington, who showed up for a minute, I guess. That's great. I love these new devils. These are some of my favorite ones that not that. Get out of here. These are some of the favorite ones that we've ever made. I love them. I gotta do the lair actions yet. We will be back. I believe next week I might have to do it at a different time because I was an idiot and set up a meeting right at the time when we would normally be streaming. I still intend to stream that day. I have the whole day, but I might reschedule it to a slightly different time. So maybe you won't be able to make it. Fingers crossed you'll still be around. I'm not sure what time that will be yet. But we will be talking about the monster that we are doing on this upcoming episode that's coming out tomorrow for patrons. Oh yes, that's right. I did see your message, Hunter. I have not had a chance to respond to it because I'm bad at responding to messages. But we will be back on Thursday with the Brass Dragon. Yes, that's right. We are talking dragons finally, and we're starting with our metallics because I have already redesigned the chromatics. If you like to stream, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more stuff that I make that you'll enjoy. I'm coming back from a long hiatus. There should be plenty of new videos coming out soon, including Previously Ons and Thoughts on the Table, both of which are in production right now. You can follow me on Twitter. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Patreon. If you want to get access to these fiends that we made here today, please consider joining the Patreon. I'm doing this at like lightning speed because I got to get off. I got a bunch of other stuff I have to go do. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Big shout out to all of your awesome ideas. I can't wait to see them implemented. And I will talk to you next time. But until then, happy adventuring.